How do you conquer the fear of failure as an entrepreneur? So first of all, I want you to think about the alternative. If you're afraid of failing, for example, with this business or with this client or whatever it is, what is the alternative? If you're not trying, what else would you do? There is probably no other better option. There is no way. You need to try. You have to try. What else do you want to do with your life? You want to just sit around and do things that you surely win? You're going to stay pretty mediocre. So that's the first thing that people are not very much aware of. Like, what is the alternative? You don't have an alternative. This is the only way. You have to do this. You put already so much sweat, tears, and time into this and effort. And you love what you do probably. And probably you're also believing in your product. And this is right now a sweet spot and your chance. So go for it. Because when you're 70 years old and you're looking back on life and you're like, hey man, back in the days then I had this business and it failed. But I did it. Gave it a try. Gave it a shot. I mean, how would this feel if you're 70 years old and you're looking back and you say, well, I once had this business and then there was like a tricky phase and I just chickened out and I just didn't do it. Never knew what would have happened. I don't want to be this 70-year-old, to be honest. And I'm not saying to take stupid risk and just like spend millions and millions of dollars into something and then you might have like debt for the rest of your life. And this is like, I'm not talking about this. Like, be smart with your risk. But often the risk is not as bad as we think. Also, I want you to educate yourself about the fixed and the growth mindset. A lot of people who are having fear of failure are so afraid of it because subconsciously for them it means if I fail, that means that I as a person failed and I am a failure. And that's the so-called fixed mindset. They attach all the outcome in life they have to their personality. The growth mindset is more about, hey, I failed, okay, great, I can learn from that. What can I learn from that? How can I improve? Because I don't want to play a game which I just always win. I don't want to play tennis against somebody I continuously win or play chess against somebody who doesn't even probably know how to play. I want to play with somebody that is equal, so I'm like struggling a little bit. I want to lose once in a while so I can learn from that. That's when it's fun. And I want you to embody this mindset as well. There are also books about this fixed and growth mindset. I want you to simply read into that to learn about the effects and how you can change that. That's really an important point right here, fixed and growth mindset. Also, I want you to take your time for a couple of minutes and maybe even journal even about that and think about what is the actual tangible worst case. Like for real, what is the worst case? And then ask yourself, could I handle that? And if it's a yes, then you know what you got to do. Because often we're very afraid of things, but we don't really think about the actual worst case. And if you look at it clearly, it's not that bad actually. But that's the nature of fear. Fear makes us look away. And I actually want you to look at the worst case. I'm just dropping a couple of things you could do here. If you're in this mode of having a fear of being afraid of rejection and being afraid of failure, that means that you're in a scarcity mindset, which means that you overly focus on the negative. Based on an evolutionary perspective, that's very helpful to focus on the negative, and mankind by nature focuses more on negative than on positive because the negative is more important. I mean, you could die from that. If there's a tiger standing in front of you and you don't see it, and you're gonna be dead. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of positive things you're planning for tomorrow. Like, if you're dead, you're dead. So there's an overly focus on negative. But you can train that by remind yourself and consciously steer your attention towards the positive. So I also want you to ask yourself, what is the best case? What are people that could support me? What are things that I could do? What could go right? And how could I do that? So have both in mind. Be a realist and look at both. Also, fear of failure is a very real thing, or generally failure is a very real thing if you cannot cope with it. And you can make sure that if the failure is happening, that you can cope with that. So what about your social support system? You have people that can catch you, also emotionally. And also, what's the risk you're taking? You know, I only want you to take calculated risks. I don't want you to do some business where you really could literally end up just having 20 million debt and you're just going to be miserable for the rest of your life. That's just stupid. That's just gambling. I want you to take calculated risks where the worst case is bearable. So make sure that if the failure happens, you're capable to deal with it. Maybe you even have a plan B. All right. Now, it was just like a brain dump, a couple of thoughts. Just treat it as a library. Just pick whatever fits. If you want to have some more individualized advice, also have proper coaching sessions where we dig deeper into that and fully let go of this fear of failure in a healthy way, then I suggest that we're talking. You can sign up for a call with me. There's a link below. Then we can work out a custom strategy first of all and get to know each other and just understand whether this makes sense or not. Otherwise I'll see you around.